Today we're talking about the area of 5 shapes. We're going to go over squares, rectangles, parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. So on this first page right here, we have squares, rectangles, and parallelograms. Squares, rectangles, and parallelograms actually all use the same area formula to calculate the area. So that formula that we're going to use today for these 3 shapes is going to be A equals lowercase b, lowercase h. This stands for area equals the length of the base times the length of the height. So what I like to do is I like to use highlighters or markers to find my base and my height. So I'll be using the color blue for my base and this color peach for my height. Then I can calculate. So let's start with this square right here. Now in this square, I'm only given 1 side length. I'm only given 3. You would think that I would be given more, but I can remember back to the properties of a square, and I know that in a square, all of my sides are equal. So if that side is 3, this should be 3, this should be 3, and this should be 3. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to find the base. Now my base is usually at my bottom, right here. And then I'm going to find the height. I'm going to find how tall my shape is. And I'm going to highlight it like that. Now, one of the most important things to know about a base and a height is that they always come together at a 90-degree angle. So sometimes you're shown the 90-degree angle with this little square right here, but sometimes you can just see that they intersect at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so then I can plug into my formula. So I know my formula is area equals base times height. So what I can do is this. I can say area equals my base, which is 3, times my height, which is 3. So my area equals 3 times 3. And I know that 3 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to say that my area equals 9 inches squared. And I'm going to box that in. Okay, let's try it out with a rectangle. I'm going to grab my blue and I'm going to find my base, which is at my bottom, right here. Then I'm going to find the height of my shape, which would be 3. And I'm going to double check that they meet at a 90-degree angle. They do. So then I can plug into my formula. So I have area equals base times height. Then I can plug in what I know. I know my base is going to be 7. My height is 3. So whatever 7 times 3 is, that'll be my area. So my area equals 21 inches squared. So far, so good. We learned this all in 5th grade. Let's move on to the parallelogram. So the parallelogram is the same formula, area equals base times height, except for this time I kind of have to differentiate what is my base and what is my height. So I know my base is usually down here at my bottom, laying flat at the bottom of my shape. So that one was easy. But here comes the height part. So I have to decide whether this side right here, this 4, is my height, or whether this 2 is my height. Now, if I remember back to my other shapes, I know that my base and my height have to meet at a 90-degree angle. If I choose 4 to be my base, 4 and 10 meet at an angle that's less than 90 degrees, an acute angle. However, if I choose 2 as my height, I have 10 and 2 meet at a 90-degree angle, so that's how I can decide which one is my height. So I can plug in what I know. I know that my base is 10, my height is 2, and 10 times 2 is 20, so the area of this parallelogram is 20 inches squared. Let's move on to my other 2 shapes, triangle and trapezoid. So, for my triangle, I'm going to use a very similar formula with one exception. For a triangle, I'm going to use the formula area equals 1/2 lowercase b, lowercase h. So this is area equals half of whatever the base times the height is. I'm going to go through the same process of identifying what's my base, what's my height, and I'm going to use the same principles I did as my last couple shapes. So my base, again, is going to be at the bottom of my shape. For this one, it's going to be 2. And my height is going to be my line that shows me how tall my object is, and it would make a 90-degree angle with my base. So I have to choose between 5 and 7. I know that 7's not going to create a 90-degree angle, but 5 will. 5 is also going to show me how tall my shape is. So 5 is my height, 2 is my base, so I have area equals 1/2 2 times 5, and I'm going to solve it from here. So since this is all multiplication, I can technically go in whatever order I want according to GEMDAS. So I'm going to start by doing 5 times 2, which is 10. So I'll say my area is 1/2 times 10, and half of 10 is 5. So my area is 5 inches squared of this triangle. Okay, let's try a different triangle. Right here I have an equilateral triangle. I see 5, 5, and 5. I'm going to try to identify what my base is and then what my height is. My base right here is at the bottom of my shape. Now I have to decide what my height is. Again, my height has to make a 90-degree angle. It doesn't need to be slanted like this. It has to be straight up and down. So I'm going to choose this dotted line in the middle, which says 4. So then I can plug in what I know to my area formula. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to say 1/2 times the base, which is 5, times the height, which is 4. And like I said in the last one, since it's all multiplication, I can go in whatever order I want. I'm going to say 5 times 4 is 20, and then half of 20 is 10. So my area will equal 10 inches squared. Okay, last but not least is our trapezoids, the last quadrilateral we're going to talk about in 6th grade. And when I'm finding the area of a trapezoid, my area formula is completely different. It's going to be A for area equals 1/2, then parentheses, base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Okay, so base 1 plus base 2, that's implying that I have 2 bases, which is absolutely correct. And the way that I find my bases in a trapezoid is whatever 2 lines are parallel. So in this first trapezoid I'm seeing right here, I see that this line is parallel with this line. That automatically means that those are my 2 bases. Now it doesn't matter which one's base 1 and base 2, it just matters that I know that I have 2 bases. Okay, now the time to find the height. Remember, the height must form a 90-degree angle with my bases. So my 2 options are 3 and 6. I know that if I choose this line, it's not creating any 90-degree angles. However, if I choose this line, it creates 2 90-degree angles, one with my first base, one with my second base. So I have base 1, base 2, and my height. Time to plug into my formula. So I know that area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times my height. So let's plug in what we know. I have 1/2, my base 1 is 7, base 2 is 5, so 7 plus 5 times my height, which is 3. Now according to GEMDAS, I have to take care of what's inside the parentheses first, so I'm going to do 7 plus 5, which is 12. So I have 1/2 times 12 times 3. And now since it's all multiplication, I can do whatever I want. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 12, which is 6, and then 6 times 3, which is 18. So the area of this trapezoid is 18 inches squared. Okay? Let's look at this last trapezoid right over here. So this last trapezoid kind of looks like this one got flipped up on its side, but I'm looking for the same properties that I was looking for in the last one. I'll start with my bases. My bases have to be parallel. Now on the last one, my bases were on the top and the bottom, but if I look at the top and the bottom here, they're very obviously not parallel. The only 2 parallel lines I have are 8 and 6. These 2 are my parallel lines, which means they have to be my bases. I also know that my height has to make a 90-degree angle with my base. My two options for my height are 9 and 4. If I choose 9, there's no 90-degree angles happening because it's diagonal. But right here, this is a 90-degree angle and this is a 90-degree angle. So 4 is my height. Let's plug it into a formula. So my formula is area of a trapezoid equals 1/2 the sum of base 1 and base 2 times the height. Okay, so I have 1/2. My base 1 is going to be 6. Base 2 is 8. And my height I chose was 4. So I'm going to take care of the parentheses first. 6 times 8 is 14. So I have 1/2 14 times 4. So I'm going to do 1/2 of 14 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. So the area of this trapezoid is 28 inches squared. And that's my answer.